All right. Good morning. This is Vinny Chopra coming live with Vinny and Bo Show every Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. Thank you for joining us. And please let us know where you're from. Give us your name and give some kudos and all. My co-host, Bo Eckstein, right here, Brother Bo. And we got a great guest. Will Coleman is in the house today. And we're going to talk about hard money loans, lending in multifamily, all the intricacies of it. I know Brother Bo is also a very big mortgage broker who got me $8.7 million loan within 15 days, closed, done. 8.5 million or 7 million. And that was amazing, Bo. I'll always remember that. So, we're going to dig into it how are you doing, Bo? How's everything, bud?
Doing well, doing well. Just cleaning up the house, getting ready. I'm actually since I've been working out of my house mostly.
Yeah.
I have the downstairs home office, but there's two guest bedrooms upstairs, so I'm going to knock down the wall and create a huge home office. So,
Wow.
I mean, now that we don't leave the house anymore, you can.
Not at all. Me too. Haven't left the house for 2 years. In the backyard, do all these things. No, definitely. I see your point and make a studio. I was talking to Luke Wren. You might know Luke, and a really great friend now from Sarasota. He just developed a great studio in his house, and we are going big with him also. No, very exciting. Let me kind of introduce Will. Hello, Will. You're in Knoxville, buddy. Is that right?
I just moved to Nashville 2 weeks
Oh,
ago.
Nashville. Hey, that's my old stomping ground, man. I used to go there
Nice.
40 years. Every year I would go to Nashville because my headquarters of the company I worked with, motivation speaking, fundraising, was from there and all. But let me introduce quickly and then let you take over and kind of tell us, Will actually began his real estate career in 2016 and by investing in self-managing single family home properties, just like all of us, working in property management for the Greystar. All right. Hey, that's a good company. Real Estate Partners in 2018 will begin working on commercial lending at the Citibank and then Credit Analyst, underwriting over $50 million in transactions. Will then worked as director of finance, running a commercial mortgage brokerage, and that closed $24 million loans within the first 14 months. Pretty credible. And now he has started hard money lending business, UrbanGate lending, a short term. So tell us more about you, buddy. Will, who you are? Who are you?
That's always a tough question to ask, right? Or to answer. But yeah, I mean, that's basically my background there. I've been in real estate since 2016. I've always had a strange love affair for debt.
Yes.
Which I don't think, I mean, maybe Bo might be someone else who can appreciate that, but I've always kind of been an economics nerd, and I'm a big believer that debt is really what moves the economy. And so I've always been a student of debt. So I started working at a real estate bank as an underwriter that specifically lent on real estate, and then partnered with Jake and Gino over at Rand, as well as Dylan Marma. Vinny, I know you're quite close with Dylan. So worked with them for a couple of years, and then found this kind of niche product within hard money lending in Nashville, and it was very excited about it. And so literally within the last 4 months, I left Rand and have ventured out with myself and my partner Brandon to build this hard money lending company, and it's gone very well so far.
Oh, awesome. I think Bo will have more questions than me. I'm a money raiser. We purchase multifamily hotels and building senior assisted living development side and managing them all vertically all these years. So I'm on that side. But yeah, tell us more. If somebody needs to get a hard money loan, what are certain situations and how long does it take? And what kind of structures do you put together with and all that, right? They got to close fast, is that right? And you have to put points and all that stuff, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So the I'm a big fan of Peter Thiel, and his book Zero to One is kind of what led me to think of this business. But basically, what we do is we're specifically hard money lenders in Nashville, Tennessee. So we really only lend in Nashville, and we raise money from investors, and then we lend that out to people that are mostly flipping single family houses. So like, for example, if someone's got a $200,000 house they're going to purchase and they want to put $30,000 worth of rehab into it and fix it up and sell it, they'll come to us for a 6-month loan, and we can typically fund within 7 days. We've done some the next day, which is kind of crazy, but we'll lend out short-term capital. We'll charge in between 10 to 12% interest, and 2 to 3% origination fees. But the benefit is we're kind of filling that niche that the borrowers need to move very, very quickly within 3 to 7 days. We'll lend up to 100% of the purchase price. So we'll kind of go higher in leverage, and we're extremely easy to work with. Like, someone can call me and we can approve the loan within an hour. So we fill a niche that the banks just can't move that quickly. Because they're depository.
Wow, what did I do there?
So banks, because they're depository institutions, they have a little bit more restrictions on how quickly they can move and the types of debt that they'll offer. So we found just an enormous demand for these kind of short-term, easy-to-use type loans, and we're trying to meet the demand as much as possible.
So you'll end up to 100% of the purchase price? Are you also doing draws for the rehab, or are you just doing strictly purchase price?
So for now, it's just purchase price. We're definitely a little bit more conservative on that end. Most hard money loans will go higher than that, but we've found that there's enough demand that we can fill our pipeline quite easily without having to fund the rehab. But that may change.
Yeah. So you'll underwrite. So how do you determine if you'll lend 100% of purchase price? Just strictly off ARV?
So yeah, it's mostly based off. The question we kind of frame it is, if we had to foreclose on this property, would we purchase it for the loan amount we're making? That's kind of the way we look at it. And so it's myself and my partner, Brandon, and he has lived in Nashville for 20 years. He's been investing in real estate in Nashville for 15 years, and he's flipped over 100 houses. He owns about 40 houses here in Nashville, and then maybe 200 or 300 units in apartments. So he really is kind of a market expert, specifically in Nashville. So we just look at it and use his expertise to determine, are they overpaying for this property? What's kind of the real market value of the property? And we really just do an internal valuation. So if they're purchasing it for $200,000 and we would feel good with that purchase price, just based off market knowledge, we'll lend up to 100% of the purchase price. If not, we may say, we'll do 80%. We'll fund up, $175,000, whatever that may be. We do consider the ARV, thinking, okay, what's the borrower's ARV? How much rehab are they putting into it? But we don't. It's not necessarily dependent on the ARV, which is what most people do.
Sure.
Right.
Oh, what did I do? It just shrunk. Is that right?
I think it's a background you took. You chose a background, like if you.
Okay, so if I don't do it, but still there is a red. I'm sorry. I don't know what I did there.
No, y'all are fancy with the intro.
I know there are a lot of these things. We are trying to kind of see what might work good, but somehow I don't know what I did on the right side. Anyway, please go ahead. Yeah. Huh?
So Will, do you guys have a fund, or you just do trust deeds, meaning you just get an investor per that transaction, and they're noted on the. You might fractionalize that note, and there might be investor A, B, and C in that note, or how's your structure typically?
Yeah, so that's correct. We do it one-off investors. So for every loan request we get, we underwrite that one loan. We put a presentation together, and then we present it to investors that we have relationships with. and then they're secured by that specific deed of trust in the property. We're hoping to do a fund early next year, and we're kind of in the ballpark of a $2 to $5 million fund, just kind of depending on what we think we can handle. But yeah, currently we're doing individual loans with the hope to do the fund, just because the fund's a much simpler and faster process once we got the capital committed.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, eventually there's a secondary market too. You could be selling these off. You could fund them with your own warehouse line of credit. And then, but you kind of do outside the box stuff as opposed to like the, institutional private money lenders, right? They're going to say, okay, we need an ARV appraisal. We'll lend you 85% of purchase, 100% of rehab. It's got to be at this. Where your niche is really like you guys just make the decisions. You probably don't need a formal appraisal, things like that, so you can expedite the process, which is good. I have a buddy in California who's got a fund like that, and you make a call, he gets it done, and so I think it's a good model. And Nashville is obviously a very strong market right now. I've only been there I think once or twice, but both for bachelor parties.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yes, it is the bachelorette capital of the world, I heard.
Wow,
it's pretty
somebody's
insane.
saying they want money in India, 350 million. I don't
Sorry.
think you can take money from here to there. No,
No, we don't. Only
we want other way around. Yeah.
Yeah, we only lend in the U.S. Although it is getting more international, but yeah, I don't know any lenders that lend out of the U.S. right now.
Yeah.
I'm working the $2 to $5 million. That's above my pay grade.
Yeah.
So what's your average deal size? Are you guys doing $200,000-$300,000 loans? Is that kind of like the cookie cutter type deal you're seeing?
Yeah, typically in like the $100,000 to $300,000 range. We've done like our minimum is $50,000. We've done a couple right around 60. Those are really just kind of to continue the relationship with the borrower. But yeah, 150 to 300 is typically what we see. We've done one up to $1 million, but that's we're not doing those every day for sure.
So is your plan to expand out of Nashville or just stay local and just become the dominant force there?
So the current plan is kind of, we feel like we have arguably the best product in Nashville, and there's enough demand to build a real income here. So right now the plan would be to dominate Nashville and maybe the middle Tennessee markets. So like Clarksville, Chattanooga, Murfreesboro. So some of the markets around Nashville that we know really well. But yes, I mean, long term, I would love to have a $50-60 million fund and be in most of the Southeast. But then you run into the issue of, okay, now what makes us unique is that we don't need to get an appraisal. We can move very quickly. We don't have a lot of red tape. But once you get into the institutional capital and the large fund, then you've got to add all that red tape. So we'll really just kind of have to take one step at a time and try and get as much scale as possible without having to add a lot of red tape, while still making good decisions. But for right now, I think at least for a couple years, we'll stay in Middle Tennessee and just try and be very, very dominant in those markets.
Well, that makes sense. I think that's good. I have a different model. I work with numerous funds, and I just lend wherever somebody brings me to. I had a client that I never did a deal in Kentucky actually, and she had a mixed use property under contract, and it's my expertise is really finding the niches out there. I found a bank to do the deal, right? And she lives on the West Coast, investing in Kentucky, owned no commercial real estate. And we got extremely lucky. We got her 80% of purchase price at 4%, 10-year fixed, 25-year AM, which that shouldn't have gotten done, but we did. And so now I think this lady thinks I'm walking on water, but realistically, that doesn't. I got to tell her, listen, you got lucky. We got lucky. We found the right bank. Because lending is it's a crazy environment. In your marketplace, are you dealing with the big, national funds that are lending? Like, for example, I just put together a bunch of deals in the Smoky Mountains with some national funds, and I think where you'll really compete is they still need appraisals. They don't have the market knowledge, and they can't. So you can turn around deals quicker, and probably if you like the deal, you can lend 100% where they're probably capped at maybe 80% of the purchase price, or maybe 85. So I think that's probably where you guys are really going to excel. Plus, you get known because you're local, and people will do business with you that way. But at some point, I think you guys will deploy so much capital that you have to find, because you guys have like an investor list, I guess, and you send out the presentation, and then whoever wants it comes and snaps up that note, right? Essentially.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a great model too. I should have gotten into more of that, but I somehow wasn't smart enough to. But but no, that's a good model. And a lot of people like to invest in trust deeds and mortgages. That's like if you look at most wealthy people, they have syndications in their portfolio, and they have notes and trust deeds. Somebody put our logo like in the front, Vinny.
I know, I just saw.
Vinny's just playing around today. He's got
I don't know.
How was that?
All the time this right side is not there. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to see what it got us shrunk. It's okay. Hey, we'll make the lemonade out of lemon, right? But it's doing good. It's doing good. Let me ask you a question, Will. So if somebody needs a loan right away, do they fill out like 1 page, 2 page quickly and then send it to you and you reply back quickly? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, we by no means are way down the road. I mean, we started this company probably 3 months ago. So right now it's literally they'll reach out to me, they'll call me, we'll have a 10-minute conversation about the deal, and then I have a template doc request. So I'll email them that doc request, just asking for like the PSA, your rehab budget, your expected ARV, 2 to 3 comps. On new borrowers, we do ask for credit reports. We do ask for bank statements to verify liquidity. And really, I mean, kind of a story of the deal. And with all that, we can underwrite a deal and get back to them the same day. It's we really, really are focusing on being extremely easy to work with, and that we've already found has given us a ton of demand. So that's, again, just trying to be as easy to work with as possible. That's kind of our plan.
Awesome. So how can people reach you? How can people reach you there in Nashville? You said you're only loaning there, and I don't know how many audience we have over there, but I'm in California. Bo is also on the West Coast, but we'd love to, see if some people can reach out to you. How can they come to you?
Sure. I mean, text or email. My phone number or my email is probably best. We have a website, but it's not super updated. So, my email is my first and last name, Will Coleman 202 @gmail.com.
Oh, gotcha. No, thank you so much. Thank you. Also, I wanted to take a little bit of time. I know this was a very busy week for us also in the academy. I wanted to let people listening and so forth. We did the due diligence, Bo, on the Adelaide, and our team, we chose, I think it's RAM Partners, very nice company. They'll be our property management team. And we interviewed many great people there in Knoxville, and we chose them, and they did the due diligence, which was exciting. They did it all in the free service because we'll be signing contract. We've signed a contract for them to work with us, and we didn't find much at all, which is very exciting. We knew that going into the deal that all the units were upgraded and everything, and just found one leak only in the whole 107 units or something. It's one of our smaller portfolio, but then we are buying 56 units next door, plus we are building 8 townhouses and also completing 8 apartments underneath. So that'll be 185 or 90 units there. So that'll be Bo, in your case, you are closing deals. I know we talked about it. A lot of action there, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the lending business is a tough business, as Will knows, and you know, I try to provide solutions, and like I have one deal I've gone back and forth with the sponsor. It's a
Yeah.
$11 million deal in San Francisco,
Yes.
and he, you know, I understand it's a big deal he's signing on. He's a versed investor, and I'm trying to get him a construction loan. He's never done construction financing.
I see.
And when you've done construction financing, you learn how much of a pain in the butt it is. And but that deal's
Yeah.
fun. I can't wait to see it. It's a legacy type property, so I hope to get that one
I see.
closed. And I don't know, just same old stuff. But I'll send Will some referrals when I get some Nashville deals. And
Yeah.
Will, you can send me any kind of deals if you're not going to look at them, because
Yeah.
we're pretty resourceful, and maybe we can create a win-win relationship, because that's what real estate is all about, is networking.
Exactly.
Vinny, the logo's still in front of our faces, but
Oh, is it really? Still?
for
No,
like
it's
10
not.
minutes.
Oh my
Is it?
gosh. No, it is
Oh, there it
now.
is.
It is now. But
There we
now
go.
it's
All
gone.
right. I can see Will.
We have had
Um,
so much fun today.
yeah, it's you're much better. I like what Will's doing, because it's like you kind of make things, if you make things basic, like as I see the really successful people that start to own funds and stuff, make it simple, right? Like get your
Yeah.
niche. And like my friend in California, who's got a fund, it's like he has his niche. He has
Hmm.
full authority. He can, he does $5 to $10 million loans, up to 10 million, but most of
Yeah.
his loans are 1 to 5 million type of things in San Francisco. He only lends in California, doesn't want
Yes.
to lend out of state, and he's done very well. He consistently funds millions and millions of dollars per month, and I look at that business model, and it's simple because he doesn't have to overthink things. Where I might get a deal, Will, and it's like trying to find an investor for some random, location that I've never been to, and got to figure out the
Yeah.
location. So lending's a fun business, but it's challenging. And sometimes I
Mhm.
think, God, I should have been a syndicator like Vinny. And the good thing is I'm not that old yet. Where we're gonna
Hey,
we'll change focus soon.
you're never no never old. I mean, I want to tell you, Ethan Diaz just closed on 104 units at the
Hmm.
age of 19. He joined
Incredible.
my academy just
Wow.
9 months back or 11 months back, and just closed such a big deal. And now they are putting an LOI on another one, and so forth. And so it's very exciting. Thomas and Brent, Jay, Mike Fritz. I mean, so many students are just crushing it. I'm really, really proud of them. I mean, they are learning a little bit, and taking on their own. I think it's the action. It's not what they learn in the academy. It's what they put into action that gets them results. And I know Gaurav just mentioned Dumel, Dylan, of course, all these students. I mean, they're just crushing it, which is exciting to see. You know. No, such good. So glad to have you, Will, and good luck to you, brother. And Nashville is a great market. I love Nashville market, Knoxville market. We are coming there with a lot more. We just got one going now. We're going to be building assisted living also in Knoxville. We're looking for a land there. Maybe Nashville too. Why not? I have a lot
I
of
don't
good
know.
friends in. Yeah, yeah. So that way,
Where
but.
what's
Mhm.
that lake right outside of Nashville that's pretty popular? Because when I was at I can't
I don't
remember,
know.
but I had a great time. When we went to the bachelor party, we then one of the days we had like 40 guys with us. They were all firefighters except for me,
Oh,
and so they were wild guys. But one of the days we rented a boat, and these party boats, and we went out to this lake, and it was just I just remember how fun it is. But Nashville is extremely, like, I could
beautiful.
definitely live in Nashville. That's a town I could definitely live in. Like
I've fallen in love. I'll tell you, I've been here for 2 weeks. I fall in love for sure.
Yeah, yep, yep.
oh
It's
oh
so. No, go ahead.
oh
Yeah.
I was gonna we should introduce Will to Justin.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
he's got a staffing virtual assistant company, but he's like a 20 something young guy in
Oh
Nashville.
my gosh, in Nashville, Tennessee, yeah, you would
You should
love it.
you should definitely network with him. He's a real mover and shaker. You like
That'd be
it
Yes.
great.
too. Yeah, so we'll
We will.
introduce you
We'll
to him.
introduce you. No worries. And I mean, there is a Cool Spring Mall there on I-65 going south in Morse Lane. I don't know if you remember or you know about it yet, but we
Hmm.
used to own 107 acres of land. My company.
Wow.
This is I'm talking 1976, 77,
Wow.
Will,
going way
Will, Will,
back.
Will wasn't born. How old are you, Will?
I know. Will
I'm
is
27.
You know what's amazing, John. All of John's buddies are all these young 20-year-old guys.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I love seeing it too because it's just like,
Keeps me young too, man. I'm going to be 70 next year.
oh my,
It keeps
Wow,
you
that's
young.
awesome.
yeah.
What's
There's a
crazy is
lot.
I'm one of the old ones. I'm
I know, but
27.
there's a group in Nashville. You guys like these young rock star real estate guys, which is good because you guys are all networked together and they can,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
you can bring
Hey,
deals to each other and things like that. It's good.
yeah,
totally.
I did want to ask Vinny two questions. I don't
Sure,
know if
sure.
we're on a
Yeah,
timetable here.
buddy. Please, please.
So this is definitely a quick shift of I'm a big fan of like your kind of philosophy of positivity and just
Yes,
kind of showing love in general.
yes.
So the two questions I wanted to ask you is one, when you are tempted by negative thinking,
Yeah.
what do you tell yourself to improve that?
Very good question, Will. The thing I think in my mind is brain is so small. Everybody, please listen. Because if you got a lot of negative thoughts in the brain, there is not much positivity can go in. You know what I mean? So same thing with the glass. We know when in glass you start putting a lot of water, then you can't put more water in it. Same thing is with the brain. So we got to train the brain to put a shield around your thinking, to just practice it slowly, 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 to say, hey, this is negative thought. Okay, let me accept it. It is negative, but then let me not dwell on it. That's the wording. Because many times we dwell on it and then it just stays with us longer than it should. So by just reading and watching positive, feeding your mind with positive things, I believe YouTube, Google, articles, all those podcasts, right? It will be amazing. Will, what happens is your conscious and subconscious start repeating what you listen. See? And once it starts repeating and listening, then it's going to embed in your whole thinking those slowly, slowly deposits, I call it, right? It's those positive deposits which going to start building, and your behavior will change and your thinking will change. And it's not overnight at all, to be very truthful. It
Hmm.
can't happen. But the concerted effort should be there on every time negative and positive comes in our life. We got to accept it. If a big negative came, the sooner we accept it and find solution, how to combat, or not really dig into it, why me, poor me, why this, why that, that even gets it deeper and deeper and deeper into our thinking, right? And the
Yeah.
more time we spend on it, Will, the harder it is to take it out. So
Hmm.
I say in my Positivity Brings Profitability book also how to really do that more lucidly. I'm also adding 24 chapters to that same book, and it's going to be even more, a lot of material that's going to be added on in the revised edition. My publisher is working, Heather is working on it. But no, thanks for asking. Again, it's not overnight process, but you got to make that concerted effort to combat, put a shield around, and that will come. What's the second question? I don't know if I answered this good,
No,
but
that's perfect. I think Bo had a comment, and then I'll ask
Uh,
the second one.
No, I was just gonna say, listen, I've been in real estate now. I'm 43. I've been in the loan business, which is probably the most stressful part of.
It's brutal, man.
I
I
mean,
know
it's
it's brutal.
stressful. Yeah, it's stressful when you're the guy with the earnest money deposit that you might lose it if the funding doesn't happen or whatever. But I'm stuck in the middle of all these kind of things that like I got to get stuff done, and like it's and the problem is I started taking things. This is probably going to be resonate with you, Will, is that I take things so personal, and so couple weeks ago I had this deal, and like I'm like we closed it, and then we were trying. She was trying to pay off this loan, and all this stress because it was a cross collateral loan, and I internalized, and I was feeling her stress, right? Like I was for like 2 weeks, I was stressed out, like because I knew it was so important for this whole thing to work, for this thing to pay off, to move on to the next deal to close. And literally for like 3 weeks, I was like all I was thinking about in the back of my mind was this like problem, like it was now my problem, even though I did my job already. Like I closed the transaction. Hey, you know what you're getting, go execute your part.
Yeah.
And so what you have to do, I think, because it's taken me 20 years to figure this out, but really what you have to do is you have to be able to realize that real estate is a very challenging business.
Yeah.
Like, you see a lot of people on LinkedIn and stuff showcasing their 200, 300 unit acquisition and all whatever, you see that, but you don't see what goes on the back end, like the bringing in investors, dealing with problems, dealing with the loan. And at the end of the day, the more deals you do, there's going to be problems. There's going to be problems in any business you do, especially in real estate. And you just have to realize that, hey, we can only do the best you can do. And you have to be able to kind of like take this little problem and move it aside, because when I'm dwelling on this problem, it's not allowing me to be productive. And, as Vinny and I always say, I think I get this from Vinny, is to be successful, you constantly have to be moving the needle. Every day, move the needle. And if you're dwelling on some negative thing, you're not going to be moving the needle. So what you have to get really good at doing, and I'm one that needs to do this, is just like, okay, you have to accept it, put it to the side and say, hey, I've done what I can. Because I always internalize thinking, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Which is okay to do, but spend 5 minutes doing that and say, listen, I'm good at what I do. I'm moving this aside. It's a learning lesson. Let's go on, because at the end of the day, if you meet a real estate investor and they've never had any losses or bad things happen, they're probably lying to you, because nobody bats 1,000, right? Nobody bats 1,000. So so that's the thing I would say, that in the lending business, especially, you have to also learn your worth, because people like to grind you on costs and fees and things like that. You just got to get to the point where you say, listen, I'm already giving you a good deal. I always give good deals off the bat. And it's either you want to move forward or you don't, and don't waste my time, right? Because I'm busy. And when I started doing that, business became a lot easier for me, where it's like, this is what it is. And if you don't like it, go to somebody else. And I guarantee you're probably not going to get the same level of service and the same level of professionalism and so forth. So, things happen, but that's kind of like, I learned way late in life that you have to be more firm on what you tell people, and just listen. Hey, I always do my best. I always try to be fair on pricing, on everything I can. But at some point you have to like take those people and just be firm with them, because if not, they're always going to come back and say, oh, well, what can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? And you can pick and choose who you want to work with. Remember that you can pick and choose who you want to work with. Like,
that's huge.
Your goal in life is to be able to pick and choose. Like, sure, I want to do every loan I can. And sometimes I do get these deals. I'm like, why am I saying yes? I can get it done, but it's going to be a painful 60 days of me trying to get this deal done. Where you just got to say, listen, you're really not, in your back of your mind, you're saying, listen, this is really not worth my time. I'm only going to work with customers and clients I want to work with. I think that's powerful. And then anything negative, you think about, you say, how can I do it better next time? And you put it aside and you move on, because I wasted 2 weeks dwelling on something not being productive when it ended up working out like it always does. Everything works itself out. Even if I flipped a lot of houses, and I've had some deals that were just thorns in my side. And at the end of the day, you gotta look at deals. You gotta confront the thorn. You gotta pull the thorn out, and then you gotta go fix the problem, even if you write a check to fix that problem. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have these problems that sometimes, you just got to say, okay, I'm going to take a little bit of a loss, or it's not working out the way I want it to. Boom. Okay, fine. You move it. You go work on the deals that are going to make you hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars on some deals, right? And that's what I think is important if you really look at successful people, is they're able to do that at a high level and make decisions quickly, and also have a strong gut. Like when I watch Vinny go into different markets, he goes, hey, I want to be here. He looks around, he does his kind of sniff test of like why this market, and then he just goes and, like Knoxville, right? Like I want to be there. He just decided. Well, I mean, John was there, but there was just cause for like, hey, let's take massive action. Boom. Now they're in contract and they're going to build a couple things on top of that. They're going to have 200 units, in the next few months or the next 12 months. And that was just like a decision he made, and he just went with it, and he knows, and he just executes his plan, right? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get the teams to do all the inspections, and he just executes the plan. And I think I learn a lot from doing these shows, and I've dealt with negative talk and negative chatter. And I always tell Vinny, I do this show because it's, Vinny is usually always, positive. I mean, does he have some bad days? I'm sure. Yes, he does. I can tell.
I do.
I've seen him get pissed off at people. He does have he does have a mean side to him. Like he's human, right? He's going to get pissed off, and he's human. But most of the time, Vinny's the most positive person I know. So yeah. So like we can look at him, and I think that was a good question, Will, because like
very good question.
Why are you always smiling, Vinny? Like you have a lot on your plate. Like he's probably dealing with a lot of things on his plate right now that are not the easiest things to deal with, but he's able to say, okay,
I agree.
Push it aside. Yeah, that's like Miracle Morning guy, Hal Elrod. Will
Oh yes.
Have you ever read the book Miracle Morning?
I have. Big fan.
Amazing book. Yeah.
He wears a bracelet on his hand, on his wrist, and it's like he has like a ritual. And I don't know it exactly. This is kind of like a rough, but it's like something like can't change it. It says can't change it.
Oh, can't change it.
So when he has a problem or an issue, he goes and he says, okay, I'm going to spend 5 minutes, and he's going to look at his bracelet and say, I can't change it. And then he does his ritual to say, okay, 5 minutes, boom. All right, now I can move on. Right. And I think that's pretty sharp. We should try to get Hal on this show.
I know we should. We should bring him on. I would love that. Will, what was your second question, buddy? Yeah.
Do we have time? I don't know.
No, quickly. Okay. I can answer maybe shorter version of it.
Okay.
I know we do want to wrap it up. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. So it's tied to that of, because I've kind of gone through that progression of going from kind of a negative person to believing in being positive. But if you're always positive and you always think the best is going to happen, how do you balance that between showing love, positivity, and trust without allowing people to take advantage of it?
Very good. Well, the biggest thing is that, we can only control ourselves. That is the golden principle. You cannot change anybody's thinking. They have to really change their thinking, and if they want to get better around you, it's going to be dependent on them totally. I used to spend a lot of time in changing people's thinking. That cannot happen. You could show them the perspective. You could show them, hey, this is what might really work good for you, right? But many times we are just stressing out for nothing, to shape the world around us. If we are right, the world will be right. I listen to that one. If we are right, if we are giving everything positivity and everything, and be realistic. As many times I feel myself, am I a realist or am I just hoopla? I'm always positive, always positive. Then people say, who is this crap? He's always so positive. So you got to be genuine, right? You got to be actual, genuine, and then, show your bad side also, which I'm trying to do that. Like today, I was very much, I got up at 3 o'clock this morning. I said, I've got so much things to do. So I just did a recording today about prioritizing and delegation and mindset and all, because that's what I needed. And I've lived my life with that. You got to, when you get overwhelmed, you prioritize, you delegate, and then you are able to make lists and everything like that, right? But answer your question, you bet. You got to be realist, but you also also want to not take crap from people around you. They'll eat up your time. See, time
Mhm.
is the only commodity. And I'm learning to how to say no. I mean, the best thing is to have open schedule. The more open the schedule, only those important people who can make a difference, I can make a difference in their life, they can make a difference in my life, should be on my calendar. Otherwise,
Hmm.
it's all noise. I call it noise, big noise. So it's dust and it's noise. We need to be only focused on the gold, the diamond, the gold.
I love
Hey,
it. Well, I
pleasure.
appreciate it. I want to make
Such a
sure I asked you
pleasure.
that.
Will, such a pleasure, brother. We look forward to seeing you in Nashville. We'll be buying there too. I talked to a broker yesterday he knew me from 10 years back. 10 years back,
Wow.
Bo. I want to say that today. He says, Vinny, I've talked to you before. I said, what? I knew I was looking at 5 properties in 2010 in Nashville, Murfreesboro and Briley Parkway, all the area there. And I didn't pull the trigger because I was in Tennessee for almost 14, 16 years, which was my fault. I should have gone expanded out, but it all happens. But he's going to give me some off market deals, which I'm very, very excited about. Hey, thank you for your time. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bo. And thank you, Vinny.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
thank you guys. I
We'll do it
appreciate it.
again. Okay, bye bye. Bye bye. Here it
Have a good
is.
one.